Browns QB Shedeur Sanders gets bad news about his NFL future. Browns, but the rookie quarterback is already facing questions about his future. Sanders is currently the backup in Cleveland to Dillon Gabriel, who has gone 1-3 in his starts this season. Despite Gabriel's struggles, the Browns have shown little interest in giving Sanders a shot. In ESPN's mid-season mock draft, analysts Mike Greenberg, Field Yates, and Mel Kiper Jr. projected the Browns to select Oregon quarterback Dante Moore with the number 6 overall pick, a move that would immediately put pressure on Sanders' standing in Cleveland. According to their projections, Moore would be the third quarterback off the board, following Indiana's Fernando Mendoza, who goes number 1 to the New Orleans Saints, and Alabama's Ty Simpson, who lands with the New York Jets at number 3. "This is tough," Kiper said. "Shedeur is there. It doesn't seem like they'll ever give Shedeur much of a chance, right? Dillon Gabriel is playing, but we don't think Dillon Gabriel is a franchise quarterback. Dante Moore, for me, I still have him number 1 on the board." The Browns have 2 picks in the first round. There's still a lot that needs to play out, but if Cleveland takes a quarterback high, it'll further bury Sanders on the depth chart or force him to look for another team. Mel Kiper, vocal supporter of Browns QB Shedeur Sanders. The projection is especially troublesome coming from Kiper, who has been a vocal supporter of Sanders. The veteran draft analyst had Sanders as his top quarterback available in the draft and was stunned when Sanders fell to the 5th round. "I don't care what the league says," Kiper said recently. "The league doesn't speak about quarterbacks. They don't know any more than you or I do about quarterbacks, really. Everybody's clueless about quarterbacks, including the National Football League geniuses, okay? They don't know. Even when they have them, they don't know. The Browns had Baker Mayfield, they let him go. Didn't 9 executives have Shedeur Sanders going as the number 1 quarterback at this same time last year? What happened? Nothing happened on the field. All of a sudden, we're washing our hands of Shedeur Sanders. We don't want him, we don't want him, we don't want him." To me, the organizations ruin players. They ruin quarterbacks. Browns QB Shedeur Sanders healthy after injury. Sanders missed the Browns' Week 8 matchup against the New England Patriots with a back injury he suffered later in the week. He's been rehabbing hard and is expected to resume the backup role on Sunday against the Jets as the Browns emerge from their bye week. He will be the number 2, yes, Stefanski confirmed on Friday. The Browns sit at 2-6, and their playoff chances are already hanging by a thread. If Gabriel, a 3rd-round pick, continues to struggle, Sanders could soon get his shot. In a bid to jumpstart an offense that ranks near the bottom of the league in nearly every major category, the Browns handed play-calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees this week, hoping the change will provide the spark they desperately need. The Cleveland Browns had hoped they were turning a page in franchise history when they drafted Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Coach Prime Sanders, to be their future at quarterback. His swagger, composure, and elite football IQ seemed tailor-made for the NFL spotlight. But now, weeks into his rookie season, the optimism around Sanders has been replaced by uncertainty, frustration, and a chilling dose of reality. The bad news hit Cleveland like a thunderclap this week. Multiple insiders reported that the Browns front office isn't fully convinced Shedeur Sanders is their long-term answer. After months of being groomed as the future face of the team, whispers have emerged that the organization may already be preparing for another quarterback transition. The hope that once was. When Shedeur arrived in Cleveland, he carried more than just a famous last name. He carried hope, the kind Browns fans hadn't felt since Baker Mayfield's rookie season or the early flashes of Deshaun Watson before injury. Sanders brought poise under pressure, a high football IQ honed under his father's mentorship, and a belief that he could handle the chaos that comes with playing for one of the league's most volatile franchises. He wasn't supposed to be just another young quarterback in a rebuild. He was supposed to change the culture. Deion Sanders spoke with his usual conviction when his son was drafted, saying, "Cleveland just got a baller. A young man who's built for pressure." Coach Prime believed in his son's timing, leadership, and preparation. The Browns believed it too, at least for a while. But the NFL is a brutal place for belief without results. Growing pains and reality checks. Shedeur's start wasn't disastrous, but it wasn't dazzling either. His stat lines looked serviceable, flashes of brilliance surrounded by stretches of inexperience. He read defenses well but sometimes hesitated too long on his progressions. He threw accurate balls but occasionally missed open deep routes. And in Cleveland, where every Sunday feels like a referendum on the franchise's past mistakes, average doesn't last long. The Browns coaching staff reportedly began questioning whether Shedeur's college-style decision-making could translate to a full NFL system. Kevin Stefanski, under immense pressure to produce playoff results, wasn't eager to endure another long, developmental phase. The organization's patience began to thin. Then came the injuries, minor, but enough to raise eyebrows. Back tightness here, a sore shoulder there. In the NFL, durability is currency, and every missed rep costs you capital. The turning point. According to league insiders, the bad news for Sanders came during an internal Browns meeting earlier this week. Stefanski and the front office reportedly discussed future options at quarterback if Sanders doesn't show significant improvement by season's end. Translation: his leash just got shorter. While the Browns haven't made anything public, one executive was quoted as saying, "We're not closing the book on Shedeur, but we're reading it more critically now." For a rookie quarterback, that's as ominous as it gets. Even Deion Sanders seemed to sense something was shifting. In his weekly media appearance, Coach Prime's usual fire gave way to something more reflective. "You can't let the outside noise write your story," he said. "Every great one goes through storms before they shine. I told Shedeur that." Still, the message between the lines was clear: the storm had arrived. Inside the locker room. Privately, several Browns players have spoken highly of Shedeur's maturity and leadership. They've described him as cool under chaos and a sponge for learning. But leadership alone doesn't win games in the NFL. Veteran players reportedly sense tension between the coaching staff's demand for immediate production and Sanders' need for patience and development. Offensive linemen have quietly voiced frustration at the constant quarterback changes, while receivers have noted differences in timing between Sanders and backup Dillon Gabriel during practice reps. It's not open conflict, but the energy in the locker room has shifted, from confidence to quiet confusion.